got a Corolla! Is this the Corolla behind us? Should we show him?
Yeah, let's show him.
Okay. It's a 1988 FX16. Just kidding. That's not the Corolla we bought. Should we show him the Corolla we bought? All right, I'll go hit the thing. You can kind of see it. 1982 TE72 Corolla.
Yay! It's our first car
it's our
together.
It's our first project car. Our pal Randy, shout out to you, Randy. I promised I'd say hi to you. So he's the one who sources this car. We had a good time driving it. Here, let's give you guys the ins and outs of it. We'll pull it out in the garage so you can see it. She's a little rough, so we'll go over some of the spots. Lots of Bondo on this part here. Lots of Bondo here. Nice tags. But here's the part that really got us stoked on the car. Is how complete the blue interior is. We've already started doing some work on the inside. But I mean, blue seats, blue doors, blue back seats, blue dash. It's okay, baby.
It's okay?
Yeah, alright, there you go. Grand steering, we've already upgraded the wheel. We already ordered a console for it from Australia. But let's check it out. Fender mirrors. It's got the Silica Supra reps on it. Here it is. Oh, it's going to look so great when we're done with it. Oh my god, that was so hard. Am I dirty enough?
You're so dirty.
Let's go. Come on. It's now 6:30, so 5.5 hours. Just me and Emily. Say hi to yourself.
Hi.
The coveted 4AG 16 valve is loose and ready to go. Yeah. We can finally lift it up and put it on the engine stand. The dogs are pissed. Fuck. We're tired that we made a mess of the driveway, but it's out.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
6.5 hours later, and I was filthy as can be. Motor's on the stand. So today is teardown day. We're gonna take all these dirty bits, just all this manifold, all of it, and we're gonna see what we got inside this engine. I'm kind of worried to see what I'm gonna find. I think there's gonna be some more problems inside the engine than I'm led on to believe. Good indicator that this engine was abused a little bit is check out the nut for the crank pulley. That thing has been like chopped, and I don't even know what's going on here. Definitely signs that someone has been doing some work on this car. But the engine ran really well when it came out of the FX16, so we'll see how it does. The engine has definitely seen better days. I think we did a pretty good job cleaning it though. Check it out. It was covered in grime and grit, but nothing like a good old spray of degrease and then pressure washer. I'm now covered in half the grease that was all over the engine, but it's starting to look better. It's about 100 degrees right now in Orange, California, so this engine's gonna dry really quick. But let's check out and see what we have with this engine here. It's actually a pretty good sign. I don't know what size ports we have, so I haven't bought parts for to adapt the carburetors to the engine yet, but there are some good signs here. First of all, according to the valve cover, it's a blue top, but who knows, it could have been painted. It is in fact a 7 rib. Let's turn this off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rib. That's good. There's a little bit of rust on the block here, so I'm gonna have to clean that up. So far so good. It did run, so it does have good compression. I'm gonna paint the valve covers because this is just atrocious. It would be cool to put it back in the car a little beat up, but I think we're gonna clean this one up a little bit. And let's start the disassembly. here's how far we've come today. I got most of the engine stripped down. We're gonna get to the intake manifold in a second, but let's show you some of the things that I think were neglected on this engine. Again, I don't know shit about engines, but I do know that some things are no good, and I know that you shouldn't put RTV on a lot of things. You should use the proper gasket. Here's a case in point. Water pump was just held on by RTV. I mean, like a lot of RTV. Look at that. Same with the dipstick, held on by RTV. It seemed like the water pump was replaced a while ago. This seems pretty new. The water pump's over there. It does look pretty new. The crank pulley, geez Louise. I want to leave the belt on and the timing gears on because I want to do a leak down test today, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I know my garage is kind of a mess. I mean, I have tools everywhere. I am definitely not a mechanic by any means. I am not organized by any means. I suck at this. This is horrible, but you got to do what you got to do, right? And it's kind of fun too. Okay, here's the thing that's been hanging the entire flow of the day up. I first started from the top of the intake manifold here, and I was going to take the manifold off and then move to the front, but there was one fucking bolt or nut or whatever the fuck it is that I don't have the right tool for, and it's one of those moments where you got to go and run to the store and get a tool, and I have to buy that tool blindly. It's this thing. I have to somehow remove this bolt today, and the intake manifold can come off, and then I can finally figure out if I have a big port or a small port, and I can start cleaning the engine up. A lot of people say, well, all blue tops are small ports, or all red tops are big ports. That's not true. You can put valve covers of any color on any engine. It is a 7-rib, but I'm not sure if it's a 7-rib big port or small port. So I need to take off the intake manifold. And for those of you who don't really know a lot of Toyota jargon, big port, small port, that refers to the diameter of the intake, intake side of the head, if it's big or small. The bigger ones look like big eggs, the small ones look kind of oval. And I'm not sure here because I can't really tell with this manifold. I guess, I mean, if we wanted to make this a fun video today, I could probably chop this off and then look, and it'll tell me, but the problem will still remain. I don't know what this is, and I want to get it off. I want it off my car. I want it gone. You can also see here some RTV was used, not the proper gasket. That's fun. So you may be wondering where did I get this engine from? I mean, all of a sudden we have a TE72 and now there's a 4AG that I pulled out of this car. So let's go ahead and spend 5 minutes telling you about where I got the engine from. This is the donor car in which I got the engine from. 1987 Toyota FX16 hatchback, front wheel drive, automatic, which I didn't care about. FX16, that means that thing has got the 4AG in it. Registered to next year, got a really good license plate frame on it. Probably sell that to some lowrider friends. I bought the car. The guy listed the car with the title, by the way, so it's not stolen, on Facebook Marketplace for a smoking deal. I check the car out. He goes, hey man, you can drive it home. And I'm like, what? He goes, drive it home. So I look at the car. It didn't look like this. It looked like it was in pretty good shape. I'll insert some photos in the video here. The only problem is it had some major damage to the door. You can see that door was totally smashed in. And no one would buy it because the door couldn't open. So I went with the cash in hand, bought the car, and Emily and I spent 6.5 hours pulling the 4AG out. This car really belongs in a junkyard. If you're seeing this video and you want this car or this shell, come and get it. It's yours for free. I'm not even going to sell it to you. Come and get it. Lots of good stuff still on here. Wiring harness, ECU. We pulled the dash, boom. We pulled the gauge cluster, pulled it out, and boom, there's the 4AG. Oh. It's safe to say that the FX16 had many owners in the past. It was a neglected car. Of course, it's a fun car. And a lot of mechanics have touched this engine, and I'm touching it, and I'm not a mechanic, so you can imagine how many non-mechanics touch the engine. And now, today, we're being hung up by this fucking bolt. God damn it, I hate that bolt. If you're watching this video, tell me how to get that fucking thing off. In fact, I'm going to put a story on my Instagram because I want it off today. All right, we're back in business. I went to fucking Napa and got this thing to try to fit in this thing, And I'm gonna hammer it in. I'm gonna wreck that bolt, but I can't film and do the same. So we have lovely Emily here. She has food in her teeth, but she doesn't know it.
Great, thanks.
And she's gonna be filming.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Doesn't seem to fit very well. I got two sizes of this, but I think the other one might be too big. So I'm just gonna hammer this Johnny in here as hard as it'll go, and then try and break this bolt out.
How is that supposed to fit?
All right, we got it.
Yay!
The one bolt holding us back. The one fucking bolt. I want everyone out here to see this fucking. I don't know who did this, but this is not the right bolt for the car. This thing, it's out now. All right, here we go. Let's see if the manifold comes off. Moment.
Okay, so we have a small port. We have a small port engine. See the small runners? Oh, okay. Show me, they're small runners. Because they're small, yeah. But let's see, this plate might come off. You got 10% battery remaining. 10%? Okay, does this plate come off? Oh, here we go.
Oh, it looks like we have a big port after all. This is a big port.
Oh, cool.
See these little guys?
Yeah.
These are little individual throttle bodies here. Or you could like TGVs, tumbler valves. It's also emission stuff. It measures it out. But now we have a big port, so I know which ones to buy here. Here, I'll pull it out in the sun so everyone can see. Looks like this engine needs a complete teardown, but at least this has a gasket.
Okay. Progress though, progress. Oh gosh. Paper gasket, bullshit gasket. Oh, no.
Even though this is big, why does it look like there's so many in here?
So these are the valves.
Okay.
This is 4 valves per cylinder. So you have a big opening right here. It's called a big port, and then each in there those are the intake valves.
Okay.
We'll do this thing called a leak down test, and I'll show you how to do it, babe. We'll pull a plug, we'll crank the engine over,
Okay.
and we'll put air in the cylinder.
Okay.
These valves will close, and these ones will close too, and it'll tell us how much compression the cylinder holds. How much compression the cylinder holds when pressure's in there.
Okay.
So we have to leak down test. We're gonna pull this. We're gonna pull this off
Okay.
to see everything what's wrong, but you might as well do a leak down test to see how bad it is.
Okay.
Since the engine ran, I want to find out right now today how bad the cylinders are. It did smell like it was burning oil when I pulled it out of the FX16. Hi. And it's Kodak there. But you know, if I can do a leak down test right now and figure out how much pressure is in each cylinder, then that'll save me down the line because I won't have to rebuild. However, if I get an indication that we're losing a lot of PSI, we're probably gonna have to spend some money and rebuild the engine. All right, so this is gonna be real easy. What I did was I'm gonna look up there's gonna be a chart in this video somewhere of the firing order of the 4AG. So if you're gonna do a leak down test for your 4AG, follow my instructions. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm looking this up online. This is cylinder 1. This is top dead center. Boom, boom. See the marks on the cam gears, the marks on the cam cover. I put the leak down test pressure gauge or whatever in there. We're gonna pump this gauge up to 80 psi, and we'll see what the difference is in the cylinder pressure. If we get 80 psi of the ingoing pressure and then the cylinder holds 80 psi, we're good to go. We don't need to build anything.
Okay.
But if this drops down, I think they say 10% is too high. So let's say if it drops down to 70 or more, we have something wrong with the valves or the cylinder.
Okay.
So this is the moment of truth. And this is just cylinder 1. We're gonna do it for 4 cylinders.
Okay.
All right, here we go. There you go.
Okay.
All right, so we see 70 psi coming in, and the cylinder is holding 58, 56, 57, 50. The air compressor's not on.
Oh.
Do the math in your head.
Yeah.
If you're at 81 psi, that means that's hard math. You want to be at 80. You can see what 10% of 80 is. 10% of 80 is, or 81, would be 8 pounds loss. We've lost around, it looks like 10 pounds. So a little bit more than 10% loss in cylinder 1. That probably means cylinder 1's a bad cylinder. If anyone's watching and you recommend a good ratchet, I had the zip tie on this little tab to make sure it wouldn't come off, but now the zip tie is falling off and this fucking tab keeps breaking. So this is why I'm not a mechanic. I'm learning. Someone's gonna say Craftsman, Snap-on, Sears brand, whatever you guys recommend. I need to go buy that. Amazon, Harbor Freight. I don't care, but this is not acceptable.
No,
I mean, I have to adjust it every turn.
Jeez.
If I had a Patreon, I'd be like, hey, subscribe to the Patreon to buy me a new ratchet, but I don't think anyone's gonna do that. This is a fun job. You're learning how to do.
I know. Oh.
Okay, push it. It's gonna get out a lot of air. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. We tried to measure cylinder 3 without putting it at the top of the stroke. I thought TDC worked on 3. I don't know shit. So now we're gonna crank the crank actually to see how high this is on the stroke. Let's see. All right, looks like that's the top of the stroke there. Did you see it go up? All right, so we should be TDC now.
Okay.
Well, not TDC, but the top of the stroke of cylinder 3.
Okay.
And now we're gonna test it for compression. And kill the. All right, Emily, your time to put it on.
Okay.
You got the silver one in first. Nice.
Can I? Oh, it's in.
It's in. Yep.
Yay.
Okay, what are we at? 80
80
and 30.
Holy shit.
Oof. Cylinder 3 could be a bad cylinder. Yikes. Cylinder 3, we are at 80 psi coming in, a little under 80, and we're about half. That's insane. That's a bad cylinder. That means this thing is definitely going to need a rebuild. It still ran, it just didn't have compression. That also means that it didn't have that much horsepower.
Does that mean it could go faster?
Way faster. Alright, so we got some bad cylinders. We don't need to show you any more of the leak down tests. We're good on that. We know the shit's fucked, and so we can continue the teardown in another video, but for sure, cylinder 3 is bad. You can probably hear my compressor on. And cylinder 1 was pretty good, but cylinder 3 is just dog shit. Here, listen. Alright, to give you guys a sense of kind of what it sounds like, you can hear there's not real much air coming out, but it's leaking out. Hear it? Leaking out of the intake valves. That is no go.
You got this?
Yeah, I told the story. Well, okay, so I don't know if you know, but if we have a failed cylinder number 3, that means for sure there's probably something wrong with the valves, and if there's something wrong with the pistons, it means we have to buy new pistons and new rods and new bearings. So right now, that compression test or leak down test is going to cost us about another $1,000. Yeah, we can run it as is, but they'll be smoking a lot. It won't have a lot of power, and we're gonna have to we have to get new pistons for sure. Probably new rods, definitely new piston rings. If the piston's cracked, if the piston is good, we don't need to buy them. We just need to do head work.
Okay.
That's valves. That's relatively easy.
Pray for us.
Daily recap. We stripped down the engine. Emily came back after running some errands to help, and we really sped up quite a bit. So thank you. I missed you. You know, it's one of those things where you're like, "Oh, it ran. Might as well just pop it in and run it. What are you doing?" But it's one of the like we put it in, and then we're gonna have a blown engine in a month, and I have to do this all over again. Or we pull it out. It's already on the stand. There's no rush now. We can get it done correctly. We could probably do it ourselves, and fix it. So the next couple vlogs or episodes or wherever this ends up on Instagram is we're going to pull the valve covers, we're going to pull the head, we'll probably have to mill the head, put in a new gasket, mill the block, and then check out those pistons. I'm hoping it's something simple, but you never know. Yeah, this is bad, but whatever. I mean, the car was $420 bucks.
Yeah, that sounds like the story.
Yeah,
I thought we were gonna save some money, but maybe not.
Yeah, the car was $420 bucks. Also, when I was power washing this earlier today, you might actually see it on some of the footage. Cylinder 2, when I hit it on the exhaust side, I mean, yeah, I hit it with water. Of course, I'm gonna clean the engine up, but I had never seen more black soot come out of a cylinder in my life. So something was up. Like, this engine was hurt, but it just ran because it's a Toyota. It was not in ship shape. I mean, you can see it's just fucked.
Gross.
But hey, it's a full 4AG. I mean, this is the dream. Now it's time to build it up. All right.
Till next time.
Till next time. Bye.
Shh.